Man, yeah, my rib called Salakia. I have to, this continuation for those, who are still on it. But it says, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north. Did I read verse 13? Yeah. It says, in the north and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. So check this out. He was getting assurance, Geico, or what's that they call, on roadside assistance or OnStar. He was getting that for his journey. Because those are things you need when you're in a car ride. You need insurance. You need the roadside assistance and things of that nature. So the Most High was giving him that spiritually, is what I'm saying, right? Because he says, behold, I am with thee and will keep thee, right? It says, will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, right? And will bring thee again into this land. So he was getting coverage. He was being reassured. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of, right? And the Most High is not, and you have to understand, we're still going on through that process. So you will have Jacob. The Most High is not leaving you. All right. It says, and Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. So that lets you know that Jacob didn't have not downplaying Jacob's faith or anything, but he didn't look at it that the Lord was with him. Right. The Most High is everywhere, but he felt a strong presence there, which there are ley lines that goes into ley lines, but really the Most High was with Jacob. He didn't have to expose himself, expose that to him. And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Now, even more, it says, what? You are the temple of God. So I'm just going into the more further on aspect of it. The Most High really was dwelling in Jacob, And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows and set it up for a pillow and poured oil upon it, on the top of it, because he's consecrated it. He consecrated it. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of the city was called Luz at first, which Bethel means house of power, house of God. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. And this stone which I have set for the pillars shall be God's house, and of all that thou give me, I shall surely give thee a tenth unto thee. So this is before the law of Moses. This is just was a pure contract that I'm going to pay for this insurance. If you do this for me, I'm going to give this to you. But the Most High was going to do it for him regardless. But this was a relationship he was being established with the Most High. He was trusting that the Lord was going to do this for him. It wasn't Esau or government or assistance or, okay, if you pay me this much, I'll do that. No, he was relying on the Most High. And surely, enough, Jacob actually, these things were fulfilled. Now, the full fulfillment of the kingdom hasn't been done yet, but a big process was done. And check this out. He actually said, that the Most High gave him bread to eat and raiment to put on. That lets you know, Jacob was going off the fly with the Most High. He didn't have, food. Maybe he left with some food, but he don't know how many days he's going to be out there, how long this is going to take, the journey, get lost, he just, clothes, you know what I mean? That's why the Lord even said that, don't take no thought for your clothes, your raiment, which you shall eat, Most High, the Lord is going to have you, And when you look at the story of Abraham, his father, Abraham left out not having much. I'm talking about possessions. But when he went into Egypt and he left out of Egypt, he became greater. He became more rich than he ever could be when he was in Mesopotamia. And that's the same for brothers. Your true riches may not be in your regular day in and day out situation that you're used to. You actually become more rich by stepping out of that lane. That literally happened in these scriptures. So continuing on, it says, now let's go to 29. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. So the well was shut by a big stone, right? And it says, and thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? They said, of Haran are we. And he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. And he said it unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep and go feed them. And they said, we cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass that when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's sheep, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. So understand, man, you know, this process, don't close the door either. Sometimes you be meeting people, don't close the door. Don't be there, oh man, I gotta go on the journey, gotta be this. We about to lose it all. Bro, Jacob was going through a process, but there was gonna be things added to him. Rachel, and things of that, you know, another aspect. Yeah, don't close the door. You don't know who's at the house of David. You don't know who's gonna be part of that journey. You know, don't be closed-minded. You know, it is, well, you know, because what I'm saying is, you know, you could get like that. There's a time and place for everything. You know, when cut it all off. But right now ain't the time to cut, people off that could be added to you. If anything, is the time to plant and water, and see who's going to be, be able to be around you. Because that's what Yahweh shall do. That's what it is. You give that opportunity. That lane, the ones who's not, who's not, you cut it off. Like, most of my family, I took this jet, I know that, but then there's people I meet that didn't. And I'll be like, wow, that's, you got different people with, different mindsets. They just don't got the full truth. But hey, they might be staying there. They might help out. They might be a helper. You don't know who's going to be who in these times, And when I say that is because Jacob thing could have been like, oh man, I got to find this dude. But he had to, how else was he going to find Laban if he ain't open up to Rachel as a female, which will later become his wife, or open up to them brothers. Sometimes you got to ask questions to random people. He could have been, shunned, and I ain't saying shit to them. I'm on a mission, but then you're on a mission to what? To where? How you going to, what are you doing? He had to use, he opened up. He was Jacob, it's a plan. Jacob was not afraid to, start talking and using his wits. All right. So he wept, he cried, he put on the whole act. I never even seen it before, but he put on the whole act. At the same time, I know Jacob was, because he was like, wow, the Most High guided me here. But more or less too, he made them feel, oh shit, damn, this guy, like heartfelt, they don't know we coming in. Yeah, I'm looking for Laban, Laban, you know what I mean? Yeah, I know Laban. I don't know who you talking about. You know what I mean? Because it could get real stiff like that too. It's how you put your energy forth as well. Yeah, I'm looking for Laban. Dick dropping voice. Yeah, I'm looking for, you coming through fucking, you know what I mean? Just like, bro, you know what I mean? You're letting your nuts hang. Nah, bro, you might have to come in with a hack. You know what I mean? It's just things that, had to roll with. You know what I'm saying? Because you at the mercy too, so it take that, it take going through those things so people could feel you more, rush the they about to water the sheep, but now they about to go find Laban because he crying, all of this is going on. Like, damn, I gotta get to this now. I gotta prioritize. The whole thing got changed and prioritized. Now the Lord was gonna put the spirit on him to do that. The Lord even visited him in his dream. The Lord could have said, Go here. The coordinates is going to be here. And Laban is going to be right here. He's going to be wearing this outfit, but it ain't work out that way. And I'm just saying that because the Lord did visit him in his dream. But yet the Most High still let it play out where you got to, you know what I mean? Use some, you know what I mean? Some character, you know? Use some character, some act. You know what I mean? And not be too stiff. You know? So it says, hey, he kissed her. You know, you know what I mean? I'm you know, we read in the story, he cried. You know, more or less, it was like a desperate situation. And it says what? And she ran and told her father. So she was coming with these sheep, right? They could have been like, yo, I got, because people could, because sometimes you could get like that. Somebody want you put them to the back and just give me a second. You know what I mean? It could have been that. But that vibe didn't get it because of the vibe he brought. Sometimes your vibe is what you get back. Not even sometimes. It is a lot of times. Except, it'd be more challenging dealing with certain demons because they already be, coming at you hard and, but your vibe that you give off is what you're going to get back, And then I'm just going into the story because this is what our forefathers did, and that process got rushed. She ran back to her father. She put what she was doing to the back end and ran back to him. She didn't know Jacob. She didn't even say, yo, this, that, and the third. She just knew that, she just knew, well, he said, so he told her it was Laban's thing, but she didn't know that he was coming, so to speak, like to be prepared. It says, verse 13, and it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran and meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. Meaning that what? They are the same family, right? That same lineage, right? And he abide with him. It says that he abide with, how you doing? And he abide with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou serve me for naught? Tell me what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. Right? Now, we understand the process, but when Jacob started with nothing and ended up with something, but he stepped up out of that realm, and it happened over years. It don't gotta be that 7 years and 7 years here and 7 years there. The Lord could speed up that process, but the opportunity only came by him coming out of that comfort zone. That's the only way it came. All right. I want to jump it down because he did this 7 years. For those who know the story, don't know, they could jump around. I just want to look at the different processes that Laban went into, man. Let's jump down, man. I like this story right here. This is a bad situation that happened, right? So this is Genesis 30 and 25. And it came to pass when Rachel had born Joseph, and Jacob said unto Laban, send me away that I may go into my own place, into my country, because he was supposed to go back. The Lord said, I'm going to be with you when you go back. He never got a chance to go back. He's been there for about 20 years now, right? So verse 26, give me my wives and my children for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee. He's like, yo, you know my work. I put in a lot of work for you, right? And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord have blessed me for thy sake. Understand that Egypt got blessed for Joseph. Anywhere we go, we're getting blessed. People get blessings off of you, and they know you're more value to you than Esau is telling you to take this jab because he wants you to be here. He's not banking on you leaving. He's banking on you taking this because it's going to certify more loyalty of you staying here. If he was to chip everybody, then what the Most High is coming back for? Then he remains forever blessed. You don't think that's something going through his mind? You think he want everybody to cut out and go? No. But the truth is that the elect ain't going to. But he still got to give his shot. Just like Laban. Laban pleading the cause. Yo, man, shit. But he's telling him the truth. I got a lot of blessings to you. I mean, hey, Jake would stay here if Esau treated them right. But the Most High is forcing Esau to treat Jake wrong. And that's what we got to ultimately understand. This is really between anybody who want their rulership. This is really the Lord and his story and his process. So check this out. So he say, I have learned by experience. So what you think? He's seen the work that Jacob put in. It was a good show called Them. right? For brothers who ain't watched it, try to watch this. Just one episode. It's called The Covenant, right? And when you watch that episode, The Covenant, right? It was a guy. They was in this town, and they were like some Quakers, and they kept getting blessed off of this one brother. You know, he was a so-called black man. He kept getting blessed off of everything he do. He was digging up wells, like the cattle. He was repairing the town, and they didn't want to let him go because they didn't tell him that they was getting blessed from him, but they didn't want to let him go at all because they already understood that he's the reason why we are actually succeeding. You know, watch that. That's a bad episode because that's literally, I feel like that's the episode that Esau was confessing. Listen, we know who y'all are, and we can't let y'all go. And also, we're programmed to be this way. You know, and it really is. It's called Them. It's called Them. And watch the episode, The Covenant. It's probably like the 7th or 9th episode. I think it's on. What is on? What show was it on? I forgot what show it was on. But it's called Them. THEM. Just type in Them TV show or series. You know, it's called The Covenant. Anyway, it says, and he said, appoint me thy wages and I will give it. And he said unto them, thou knowest how I have served thee, how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto the multitude. So Jacob, like, listen, you know, Laban already knew that. He said he increase. But it's like, you got to draw it out for them because really Laban don't want to give him shit. You know, Laban could have said that. You know what? Laban already knew. Laban already said, I increased it because of you. Obviously, he knew what he increased in. You know, he didn't fucking increase in growth like a height stature. You know, look how tall I am. He increased in wealth. Obviously, you know what Jacob want, bro. He want like a pen. I want to leave with something, bro. You know what I mean? I got a whole family now, bro. Can I stand on my own? Anyway, it says, and the Lord have blessed thee since my coming. Now when shall I provide for my own house also? And you know, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You know, Jake, they died. They put in his work for Esau. We never have enough to provide for our own. We never, ever. Right? It says, and he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. Right? He said, yo, you don't got to give me nothing. And I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted calf, and all brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted speckle among the goats. Of such shall be my hire. So he's like, listen, I'm going to pass through the flock today. I'm going to remove from thence all the speckled cattle and spotted, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted speckle among the goats. And of such shall be my hire. So all the speckled ones that and the sheep, the cattle, the goats, that's going to be mine. Right? So shall my righteousness answer for me in a time to come. So he said, listen, when I do that, it was more or less like leaning on the Lord. Like, all right, whatever he didn't know. I mean, Jacob kept the cattle, so to speak. So you would say he would have a kind of idea, but it's still a gamble. It's like saying, all right, whatever one I find over there right now, that I'll take. So it was like more or less like, I'm not being unfair. We're being fair about the situation because it might not be that much spotted. You know what I mean? So it says, verse 33, so shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come from my hire before thy face. Everyone that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. So he said, anything that's not spotted, then when you see it, then that means I stole it from you, you know? But he's saying, in time to come, let that be his righteousness, because it wasn't really that much speckled and spotted. Let's just keep going. And Laban said, behold, I would it might be according to thy words. So he said, agree. Now, you know, these are not written contracts, they were verbal contracts. And he removed that day the he-goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and everyone that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flock. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar and of hazel and chestnut tree, and peeled white strakes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rod. So Jacob had took some tree, he shaved them down to make the white appear, right? And he set the rods which he peeled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. So he did some herbal remedy, right? The Most High put a spirit on to do some herbal remedy that when they would conceive as soon as they would drink the water. And the flocks conceived before the rods and brought forth cattle, ring-streaked, speckled, and spotted. So even though they conceived, they didn't even bring forth straight brown or straight white. They brought them forth speckled, as he was going to keep the ones that were speckled. And Jacob did separate the lambs and separate the faces of the flocks toward the ring-streak, and all the brown in the flock of Laban he put in his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob. So Jacob knew, right? He was a supplanter, but he had knowledge. Jacob knew that I want the strong, I want the best. So I'm going to make them multiply. But when I put this in there, I'm taking the strong ones. So it don't matter what cattle this was. If it was a strong one that was like of Laban's, or it was a strong one of mine's, well, pretty much I'm going to make that, I'm going to put that in there so they could come out to multiply right now. But only the strong ones that's going to be ring-straighted and speckled. I'm not going to do that for Laban. I already built Laban up. Somebody, oh man, why he already did with it. I mean, Laban already got what else more he want, you know? Now it's time for Jacob to focus on himself, you know, rightfully so. So it says, but when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maid service, and men service, and camels, and asses. So all throughout this process, Laban built off of Jacob's success. Jacob went through all of this turmoil, but at the later end, he finally got a blessing. And once again, anytime you get a blessing, comes the jealousy. So it ain't stopped there. So now Laban gonna be hot, because he gonna be jealous. Yo, damn, how you got, you know, when you go into the story, right? And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob have taken away all that was our father's, and that which was our father's have he gotten all of this glory. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindreds, and I will be with thee. So now he got to go on another journey. He got kids now. He got wives now. He got substance, and now he got Esau still to deal with. But he got what you call him. But guess what? All of the substance that he was going to have wasn't even going to be for him, because he was going to give it to Esau as a gift. Then that was used as supplanting. He was willing to change with the waters. That's called flowing. That's called, you know, it's not, you know what I mean? You know, Jacob then wasn't at rest. He wasn't at rest. Yes, I got my substance. I'm about to chill and kick back. No, he got a bag just now. It took a long time, but now he got a bag, and now he gonna give a lot of the money to Esau to calm his ass down so he don't kill him. Because now you understand him. Remember, when he gave him gifts, where did the gifts come from? You see? But now Laban's mad at him. So at the end of the day, you got to understand it's the Lord moving him to be that way. You know, as we able to sit back, you just got to know, all right, the Most High put that spirit on him. He don't really mean that, you know, he don't know. He don't know. And shit, to really think about it, who want to lose something that they getting increased on? Nobody. Why you think Esau doing all the crazy shit he doing now, trying to stick chips in us? Shit, he don't want to not win no more. You know, I mean, he could do right, but eventually Jacob had to go. I mean, you know what I mean? Jacob had to go. He wasn't going to stay there forever. It don't matter how much right Laban did. He had to go. He had to, listen, bro, you know, I did a lot. He should have just appreciated his time. But the Most High put the spirit on him. He couldn't let him go, right? So it says, and Jacob called Rachel and Leah into the field, into the flock, and he said, I see your father's countenance, that is not toward me as before, but the God of my father have been with me. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father. So you had to talk to like, yo, listen, your pops, you know what I mean? He not, you know, he's talking to her because, listen, because, the daughter might side with the father. Not saying that was going to happen, but he's being sincere. Like, I did everything right by your father. That's Jacob. That we go through stuff and you trying to tell, you did stuff for people. I did everything I can for them, Anyway, it says, and your father have deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but God suffered him not to hurt me. Right? So he also letting him know that, your pops did some grimy shit too. I don't think I didn't know. Remember, he did it. He changed my wages 10 times. He played him with Rachel and Leah. He did it. He changed his wages a lot. If he said, thus, the speckle shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckle. And if he said, thus, the ring straight shall be the hire, then bear all the cattle ring straight. Thus God have taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring straight and speckled and grizzled. And an angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. I said, here am I. And he said, lift now thy eyes, and he see the ram leaped upon the cattle are ring straight and speckled, for I have seen all the Laban doeth unto thee. So really the Lord, even though Jacob said that, the Lord was going to give and increase Jacob's. They were going to become out ring straight and conceived to be that way because the Most High already seen Jacob doing. So just because we losing, Esau defrauding us wages and things, don't think the Lord don't see that. It's just that he was going to get it on the back end. That's another lesson for us to understand. That we usually, a lot of our stuff we going to get on the back end. He see what you're doing. He see the work you putting in and stuff like that. Most High don't forget. He just gets you on the back end though. It took a long time for him to get on the back end, but the back end was the best. Because that's how the Most High work. He give you a lump sum. Brothers get things in lump sums, just mad lump sums. That's the Lord just getting you on the back and you held it down. You went through this, you went through that. I don't know. You might have lived in a base, a lot of situations. I got you on the back end. So now I'm increasing you, but still, just because you getting that, don't mean you about to be put out at real rest. All right. And we going to see that because even though Jacob got all that, it wasn't him he wasn't even going to go on the rush yet. All right. So, and Jacob went through a lot. He went through a long process, man. It says, and Rachel Leah answered unto him, is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he have sold us and have quite devoured also our money. So you're like, yo, damn. You know what I mean? Our pops don't want us to have nothing. Like, yo, we with you now, and he don't want us. The father was just caught up, man. He was just caught up, man. He was really caught up. I mean, yo, bro, we the richest, man. They get, people go crazy. They're like, oh shit, I can't let him go. Fuck, For all the riches what God have taken from our father, that is ours and our children's now. Then whatsoever God have said unto thee, do. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and wives upon camels, and he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting which he had gotten in Padaranim, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. So now he finally going back to, and Laban went to his sheep, and Rachel had stolen images that were her father's, and Jacob stole away unawares to Laban to Syria. So he didn't tell him he was leaving, he just dipped out. But Rachel took some damn images, man. So Laban, pretty much went and followed him. So he pursued him, right? 7 days journey. So, then Jacob wrestles an angel. I'm not gonna go through all the chapters, but I want to know a clear concept of what we gonna go through, and it should be for us too. Just understand that it's still a bumpy road. It got harder. Then he got a big blessing. Then it got harder. Then he got chased out and harder. And then he went through this. Laban's chasing. Then he wrestled the angel. And it's like then Esau. Then he ran into Esau. You like shit. When does he get a break? But yo, this is yo, bro. This is like sheesh. It is overwhelming. It's overwhelming, but that's the only way we're going to enter into the kingdom. That's the only way the Lord is going to deal with you, because that's what happened, he wrestled the angel. Let's see this. He ran from Laban and then bumped into an angel. Where is this? Or did he bump into Esau before the angel? Let me see. All right, Jacob went on his way. The angel of the Lord met him, and when Jacob saw him, he said, "This is God's host," and he called it the name of the place Mahanaim. And Jacob sent messages before him east to Esau his brother and to the land of Seir, the country of Edom. He commanded them, saying, "Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau, thy servant Jacob saith thus." So look at the choice words he used. He didn't say, the elder shall serve the younger, nigga. He knew that because the angel told his mother that the elder shall serve the younger. But he still called him my lord. So how humbling is that? Although we know the process, but we still gotta, sir. You gotta give it, bro. We know the latter end, guys. We know the latter end, brothers. We understand that. Yeah, he gonna end up serving us. You don't gotta, when maneuvering, you don't gotta, we teaching that because we gotta edify Jake. So we putting that out there according to the scriptures. But I'm saying you don't gotta move like that fleshly in your flesh. You could be humble. You supplant. Because truthfully, so it's gonna happen. But he didn't send that message to Esau, I'm coming, nigga, the elder shall serve the younger. You call me Lord and you're the servant. Here, servant Esau. No, he called Esau Lord and he said, I'm your servant. And he said, and I have oxen and asses and flocks and men servants and women servants. I have sent to tell my Lord that I may find grace in thy sight. And the message is returned to Jacob saying, we came to our brother Esau and also he come to meet thee and 400 men with him. And what you think those 400 men was for? Esau, just how Esau, they know you coming, you go meet these fucking Gerber troopers. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed and divided the people that was with him and the flocks and herds and camels into two bands. So he used wisdom. And if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. So he had to think like that. He had to think on his toes. But he know he had to come that way. It was destined for him to come this way, this route, and to meet up with Esau. But he said, I'm gonna test it out this way. And Jacob said, "Oh God of my father," now he prayed as well. And God of my father Abraham, my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saidest unto me, return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant, for with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become two bands. It says, deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me and the mother with the children. And thou saidest, I will surely do thee good, and to make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for the multitude. So where he when he used the Most High words, so not against him, but to remembrance. He said, bring thee into remembrance. He said, because he seen Esau was about war, but he like, Lord, you sent me this way, and you said I'm gonna be good. I'm doing this as a game plan, in case we get away. Set up two bands. But you did say, and he said, listen. He was praying to the Most High. He said, I ain't even, worthy for the least of your mercies that you done unto me. But, hey, this is what you said. And he lodged there that same night and took that which came to his hand, a present for Esau's brother, 200 she-goats. Now, remember where he got all this through that increase. So it wasn't for him to just sit back and chill and cash out. But, hey, he had to pay, you would see that with, I was watching this thing with BMF. They had to pay the cops. They had to pay, you would see that in a lot of these, drug movies and stuff like that, where Jay got to pay to, keep the wolves down and the police down, But that works in righteousness as well. You got to sometimes There'll be spirits at your job. You got to pay and keep them down and bring them food and stuff like that. Ask them what food they want because they'll persecute you. They'll know you different, but them demons on them, they don't know, but the demons on them is on you. Like, yo, man, come at him, man. You just be on his ass, for no reason. For no reason. See, he don't even like your conversations. Why? He's arrogant. He's this. He's stuff. And that happens. But you gotta, you gotta know, to maneuver these ways. So, continuing on, it says, and he took, right, and it says, all right, and 20 rams. So he gave 200 she goats, and he gave 20 goats, and he gave 200 ewes, right? Those are like the mother lambs. Ewes is like the lamb's mother. That's what you call like a older lamb, a female. See, the female prominent element of the flock, ewe. So that would be a sheep, but it would be like the female, the mother. And 20 rams, so that's a lot. 200 she goats, 200 ewes. It's 400. It was about 400 dudes there, and then 200 she goats, 20 he goats, right? 200 ewes and 20. So he gave him 440 altogether. Oh no, Salakia. 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 kine. This is a lot. 10 bulls, 20 she asses, and 10 fowls. So, man. And he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves and said unto his servants, pass over before me and put a space betwixt drove and drove. So go ahead of me, put a space between each of y'all and bring these gifts. So they were split up with these gifts. And he commanded the foremost, saying, when Esau my brother meeteth thee and asketh thee, saying, whose art thou and whither thou goest? And who are these before thee? This thou shalt say, that they be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau, and behold, also he is behind us. Wow. So he commanded the second and the third, and all of the followed the drove, saying, on this manner shall ye speak unto Esau when ye find him, and say ye, moreover, behold, the servant Jacob is behind us. All right, for he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face, peradventure he will accept of me. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company, and he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and 2 maidservants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok, and he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had, and Jacob was left alone there wrestling a man. Okay, so yeah, he wrestled the angel. So it's just bad. I mean, but out of every situation came a blessing. I don't really understand. I can't. And it says labor, to enter these strain of vague things. You might think your situation is tough. And I mean, general, all it is. But as we sit back and we look at the process, it didn't stop. It didn't stop, brothers. It just didn't stop. But, at the same time, it was always the Most High showing himself. And now he wrestled with an angel, but then he got a name, Israel. To this day, a group of people in that land cop that name because they actually want to be that. That's how big that name is. So was it really worth him going through the trouble of wrestling the angel while running from Laban, while about to meet Esau and scared that he would kill him? Yeah, it was. It was just another, you on the road, you ran out of gas, but then at the same time, you caught a flat tire and then your cell phone died. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, shit. Oh, fuck. But then you go out to talk to somebody and then that person be the owner of some shit, and you know what I mean? And then you just like, yo, well, yeah, this was all worth it, because I would have never met this guy. I would have never, spoke to him if all of this didn't happen. Sometimes the Most High is literally forcing, not sometimes, the Lord is forcing your hand. So, I mean, I could keep going, but I'm going to end it off, man. And I want to say, Call Allah Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Makakodash. I'd love to keep going down. I'll probably drag it out. But, I mean, these stories just written for our learning. So, we just got to read them and understand that. Until the next time, I'll say Shalom. Love ya.